I'm Naeem Douglas for Metro Focus. Now, thousands of students across New York and the country are participating in this National Walkout Day. They demand reforms to our nation's gun laws in the wake of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas massacre in Florida that killed 17 people. Now, 17 is significant because they had 17 minutes of silence to remember the people killed at Marjory Stoneman Douglas. This walkout is also happening just after President Trump reversed his decision to raise the minimum age to purchase a gun from 18 to 21. Now, his proposal focuses on modest changes that include putting together a task force to study school violence and will look at ways to allow states to train teachers who want to carry guns. We walked with students from Harvest Collegiate High School here in Manhattan to get their take as they made their way to Washington Square Park. So Ella, tell me, why are you out here today?
Okay, so I'm out here today to protest the gun violence that we face in this country. On statistics, we've had over 148 school shootings since 2013, and I think that is ridiculous. And it's so scary to think that I could be in a situation where instead of writing my college essay, I'm going to be writing my will.
This walkout is something that we want to do well. Something that it's actually like we're organized and we can do it.
Tell me the significance of that 17 minutes of silence and you guys locking arms around the fountain here.
Essentially, we're saying that with our arms linked, we're saying that we are united, we are one. You cannot divide us.
When we were linking arms, I had a poster up, and I was just thinking about I wanted people to see why we were here, to think about how important it is for us as students who can be personally affected by mass shootings in schools. So as I was staying there with my peers, I was thinking about the people who did pass away and how they're in a better place now, and how I don't want anybody else to end up like that. And I feel like I speak for my peers when I say that.
We are children, we are young. We should be worried about our schooling and worried about college. We shouldn't be worried about dying, you know? We shouldn't be worried about just we shouldn't have to worry and feel unsafe in our own schools. We shouldn't have guns in our schools. That's freaking wild.
We're here to lobby for more gun control, and we're going to be calling senators, representatives, so I'm extremely happy that we have at least 100 people here to help us with that, and we're going to get things done.
The politicians pretend to be torn apart and saddened, and then they do absolutely nothing, which proves time and time again that the people who we voted into office to protect us care more about their funding than our lives.
The main thing that I see right now is I see youth taking ownership over their lives and also truly living this sense of collective liberation, right? Youth right now, they literally should be inside the schoolhouse learning, but they've decided to take the learning outside the schoolhouse. There's a lot of learning going on right here.
So we go to Harvest Collegiate High School just on 14th Street. And everybody's been supportive, from teachers to our peers that are standing here today. We have people helping us make posters, hand out flyers. We even have buttons that we'll be giving out later today.
I'm always a big advocate for youth empowerment. I think it's one of the most important things that high school should be focusing on. And just to see such a big crowd and just to have people come and talk and be feel empowered and feel inspired is such a good feeling as an organizer, because this is what I wanted and this is what I got.
You're a teacher at the school, so does that mean that the school is maybe not advocating, but they are okaying them leaving and participating in something like this?
Students can do a protest or a walkout for 17 minutes. As long as they have parental consent. Basically, everybody who's here has made a decision to either only come for 17 minutes and practice their agency, or to engage in, action consequence if they want. So they are aware of what the consequence of not coming back after 17 minutes is, and they're making a decision that makes sense for them and their families.
I know personally a lot of people who did not walk out because if their parents knew that they were doing this, they would be grounded for ever. I personally think it's worth it because you're coming out here and taking a stand and you're giving a big screw you to the government and saying dude, this is an actual problem, and this is something that we really need to do something about.
What are you hoping to get out of a movement like this?
Recognition from our politicians. We want you to know we are here to vote. We will be voting in the next election. I voted in the primaries. You have to start reaching out to your people and executing the change that you're promising. We just want to be heard. We want to strike fear into the heart of those who have done nothing. We want to make them feel guilty. You should. These children died because you did nothing after Sandy Hook. These teachers gave their lives to protect their students. There are kids in Parkland, there are first graders who are murdered, and we're doing nothing. This is an American problem. This is a public health crisis, and we're hoping to get recognition.
Students say their protest is not in here. In fact, they plan on having another one on April 20th, and that will mark 19 years since the Columbine High School massacre. Now, New York City students met with Mayor de Blasio late last week to express their thoughts and concerns regarding gun policies. The mayor and First Lady Charlene McCray faced hundreds of high school students at an event called Students Speak NYC. But the more the students spoke up, the more the mayor was accused of turning a deaf ear to their concerns. The bulk of the students who cited their concerns said there was an overuse of metal detectors in schools primarily made up of people of color and mistreatment by school safety agents. But those issues were something the mayor said was ultimately the NYPD's domain. Let's listen in.
I really believe you have to go back to the 1960s or 1970s to see high school students having this kind of impact. I can say absolutely objectively, there's never been this much focus and this much energy for change in decades on this issue of how we stop violence and protect each other. And so we want to hear what it means to you, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you think, what you want to do.
I feel that metal detectors is a great way to deter a problem from occurring, especially in a school as large as my own. We have 4,000 kids in it, and there's simply no way of knowing who's bringing either a knife or a firearm to school. This would have saved the child's life in the Bronx a few months ago, who unfortunately was murdered. I know it costs a lot of money, but New York City has a big budget, and if you're willing to look at certain things where there can be waste or unnecessary spending and invest it in the children and the security of the future, I think that would be a great step in the right direction. And also, can we put police officers in every school? Thank you.
Thank you very much. What we are doing, particularly in reference to the tragedy in Florida, is we're now doing unannounced scanning at every middle school and every high school in New York City. But in terms of decisions to keep scanning in a school, that has to be done with the school community and with the ultimate choice of the NYPD.
I just want to shed light to the fact that after Columbine, the reaction was not to invest billions of federal and local money in policing students through more police officers and metal detectors. They received resources such as counseling and mental health support. But what did communities of color get? Metal detectors and school safety officers trained by NYPD. Almost 20 years later, research shows that police officers and metal detectors do not make schools any safer. In fact, research shows students are uncomfortable and feel unsafe with police and metal detectors on campus. Also, in schools with police presence, Black and brown students are criminalized for normal youth behavior. For the last 20 years, Black and brown students have been 90% or more of all students arrested and getting summons. What is the increased cost of implementing scanning across the city, and how much increased police presence will it take to conduct this scanning? Why are you making the same mistake, prioritizing police and metal detectors instead of ensuring we have enough social, emotional, and mental health support and resources in our schools?
Thank you. I don't think we are making that mistake, honestly. I think your point is well taken. I think what we said earlier was important. One, we believe fundamentally we have to address the social emotional needs of students, and that's what the Thrive Initiative is all about. It has been a huge amount of resources that have gone into that and are going to schools. Two, we believe in neighborhood policing, and that means engaging everyone, including students and people getting to know each other, officers getting to know students, and vice versa. If anyone feels that's not happening in their school or in their life, we have more work to do. But I want to be really clear. I think if you said what was the model of the past of policing, was it about dialogue? Was it about people getting to know each other individually and by first name? And no, of course it wasn't. And that model, I agree with you, didn't work. As we changed to neighborhood policing, as we got rid of the overuse of stop and frisk, as we reduced arrests, we had 100,000 fewer arrests in 2017 citywide than we did 4 years earlier. Crime goes down. So I would imagine that we have some real common ground in our thinking.
I want to go back to the kind of behavioral health services to promote wellness you'd like to see in your school.
Metal detectors and frequent searches are effective in avoiding tragedy. Although feeling accepted and
Wait,
comfortable.
I'm sorry to interrupt 1 second. Could you first speak to what she was asking? She was asking the question of.
I'm gonna get to it.
Okay,
Like,
I just want to make sure. Thank you.
all right, so I'm gonna start over. Metal detectors and frequent searches are effective in avoiding tragedy. Although feeling accepted and comfortable in school is the best remedy. More counselors, social workers, and better support groups allow students to express themselves and limits isolation students may feel. Building trust within the school can cause the school-to-prison pipeline to separate. I have personally experienced with going through metal detectors in my school, and I feel criminalized based off the metal detectors and school safety, enhancing criminal features into me. To prevent feeling criminalized and avoid future chaos, why invest into metal detectors instead of counselors and support groups to build a safe and trustworthy community?
Thank you. Thank you.
If the question is public safety, greatest expertise in this entire country resides in the NYPD, and our Commissioner Jimmy O'Neill is very adamant he does not want to see teachers with guns. He does not think that will solve problems. But we want to keep every student safe. And by the way, I don't know all the historical moments you were referring to, but I don't doubt that there are situations where lives have been saved by someone who stood in the way of someone who meant to do harm. I think we've got to get to the root of the problem. I think the root of the problem is based on a lot of what we talked about today. Trying to get information if someone is a threat to themselves or others and acting on it and making sure our law enforcement officers have that information. But to your second question, which is about the Second Amendment, I believe in the entire Bill of Rights. And I think you can believe in the Bill of Rights, but still think there's some things we have to do differently in our society.